Hi, everyone. This is Rosemary Coates in Silicon Valley. I'm your host for this edition of the Frictionless Supply Chain podcast. I'm the executive director of the Reshoring Institute, where we help companies expand or bring back manufacturing to America. And I'm a contributing writer to Supply Chain Management Review. Today, we welcome Marina Ivanov, the co-founder and CEO of Apex Transit Solutions in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm going to let her tell you about her organization and the services that Apex provides. So let's get started. Welcome, Marina.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited for this conversation.
We love listening to successful women in the industry. So tell us a little bit about your background and how you started Apex Transit.
Absolutely. So I started unintentionally in trucking. My dad was a truck driver and I rode around the country with him and just decided that it was not for me and I was going into a medical field. And life is funny because it brings you back to exactly where you're supposed to be. And here I am in trucking. We started Apex Transit in 2012, kind of with our backs against the wall. There was no other option. And my husband was the driver and my dad was an owner operator. So it was just two trucks in 2014. That's when we got our first two trucks, and we're now at 90 trucks and
Wow.
about 180 trailers. We're dry van, so we're asset based and we're a brokerage as well. So we provide both of those services for our customers. And headquartered in Charlotte, North Carolina, a little terminal in Laredo, Texas, and Winston-Salem, North Carolina as well.
So a lot of our listeners may not know the difference between asset-based and so truck brokerage. Can you take just a minute and explain to us the difference?
Absolutely. So we were asset based for the first many years, the first 10 years, and our brokerage has just taken off in that last 2 years. Assets is just trucks. We don't provide a service. A brokerage is a intermediary. It's in between the shipper and the customer and the truck. And I do believe that brokers are very much needed in this industry. I used to think that they were the bad guys that had all the freight. I don't think that anymore because now that I've become a broker, I get it. It's so much harder than it looks. It's not just moving paperwork around. There's relationship building. There is the stress and worry of making sure that the truck of the fraud that can happen. But being an asset first helped me realize that I could be the broker that I want. I wish to have worked with before. And so we created a brokerage based on that principle where it's an on partnership where I want our carriers to be successful, where it's not just like get the highest margin, take care of the customer. It's not about how much money you can make, it's about how long you can make it for. So
So, so asset-based is the actual trucks that you own and operate, right? And the
mhm.
truck brokerage could be any truck driver out there that you might assign a load to, right?
Yes, yeah. So broker, that's exactly right. The brokerage is just a service. It's somebody that they connect the shippers to the trucking company. So
Okay.
it's usually through a TMS or a load board. So as we started, we only worked off of a load board. So it's like, hey, here's our trucks and here's a matching service. So the broker is like a matchmaker. They find a customer freight and they match it to trucks that need it. They usually try to find at the best rate possible.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I know that Apex is also known for exceptional customer service. Can you tell us a little bit about that and why your philosophy is focused on customer service?
Absolutely. And I love that question. Thank you for asking. It doesn't usually come up because it sometimes can sound salesy, but in that way, this question actually it relates back to our values and who we are. So I was a server for many years as I was going through college. And the one thing I learned waiting tables, which I think everyone should try doing because you learn a lot about customer service that way, is that you should be able to anticipate your customer's need and give them what they're asking for before they even ask for it. So it'd be, in the service world, it was filling them up with water, but in the shipping world, it's like provide that update before the customer asks for it. Let them know ahead of time that there's an issue before they ask you what the issue is. So that is anticipate the issues beforehand and find ways to have backups, four or five different backups before you need them. And I'll give you an example of our exceptional customer service because I love this example. I'm very proud of the fact that we had a large automotive manufacturing company that we serviced for over 5 years. The last 2.5 years, we had 100% on time delivery for them.
Wow.
That's wild, right? If you
Yeah,
100% of the time I've
that's
been
amazing.
trucking two and
Yeah.
a half years, I thought there was something wrong with our KPIs. I looked into, I'm like, did we not update something properly? But it was accurate. I actually even asked the customer too. I'm like, are you seeing the same thing that we're seeing? They're like, yeah, that's 100%. And we will look back and looked at why were we able to do that? And it was because we prioritize that service above everything else. And we had things like local pickup and deliveries, because it was a lane that was consistent. We're running so often for them. If there was a breakdown, we would recover that freight pretty quickly. And so that's how we became known for the apex of service. And it's something I'm very proud of because it's what to me, it's just like a pride. It's a personal, it's an ownership thing. It's a reflection of who I am. It's like you
Yeah.
did it right, you did it with integrity, and it feels good.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's wonderful.
Mhm.
I think, I've talked to a lot of truckers over the years, and I'm not sure anybody can say that's their primary goal is this kind of customer service. And well, I think most trucking companies try, and customer service is important, but it seems like it's part of your basic philosophy, which is different. That feels different.
Absolutely. Yeah. And no doubt about it, Roseanne, we're in here to make money. Nobody wants to do this for free. But I truly believe if you take care of the customer, they'll take care of you. With a little caveat, I do want to tell you, because we're talking honestly in Canada about what the state of trucking, what's going on, that customer did choose to go with another carrier, even though we had 100% on-time delivery service because of just a change in personnel and a new, I don't want to name any names, but there's big, um, I would say brokerages that come in and promise to run the whole company and they'll save you lots and lots of money. And so that's what happened. We were just caught in that situation. And it was unfortunate. It was very painful. And it took a long time for us to try to replace them. And I still do believe that that service matters, even though we lost that customer. We had it for 2.5 years and we've done it really well. And we've had other accounts as well where right now the market rate is $1,000 maybe below of what it should be paying because of the way the situation is, but they refuse. They know that, but they refuse to lower amounts. If we want to take care of you, we don't want you to go into bankruptcy. We want you to be a successful trucking company.
Well,
And they're
Well,
really
yeah, I
proud.
mean, a shipper is trusting you with their assets, right? They want to make sure that they're delivered on time and in good shape, and if anything goes wrong, they want to know that, and so there's more to it than simply looking at cost.
You get
Uh,
it.
yeah, and I think it's particularly important. I know from my own experience that when I gave our freight to my company's business, their assets, their products to a carrier, I wanted to be able to trust them,
Yeah.
and that building that trust is really difficult.
Mhm,
And once you do, then it's pretty solid.
mhm.
I want to change topics though for a minute and talk about the tariffs. Can you tell me how your business has been affected by the tariffs? Have you seen an increase or decrease or a change in your business because of it?
It's actually a great, it's not even changing. It correlates to the previous example that I showed with you. That customer was actually based out of Mexico and Laredo. And so we have since then haven't been able to find another customer to replace that. And it just, we've been actively looking, have sales team out there. The sales cycle is very long. And there's a lot of competition in Laredo. And we've seen so because we had already committed so many assets to that lane, we try to survive through the brokerage where in terms of finding loads off the load board, we didn't have those connections, we didn't have the contracts. And right now it is very, very challenging for us. We've seen a drop in just the available freight and even the rates. So we have made the decision as of June the 1st to no longer make that a primary lane for us. So we're transitioning that terminal, and instead of 30 trucks in there, now there's only 7 that are handling and we can grow, we can add more. We still have that terminal, we can position more there, but right now, because there's just not enough freight going into that market, because if I have my trucks domiciled there, then I constantly lose bringing somebody back in because there's just not the southbound freight. There's so much imbalance in there. So that's why we have shifted and we're getting more drivers, more trucks from the Midwest and Southeast area. And
Okay.
So, and to answer your question, yes, they have affected us. We have moved our trucks out of there because we don't see enough freight. It really, we actually held on for a little too long. We were hoping they would turn around, something would change, but the uncertainty is causing people to just pause and stay. They're
But
not.
but haven't you seen an increased volume in shipments coming from Mexico?
I haven't, not us. Like we personally haven't. Maybe
Because
there's,
I wonder this because at the Reshoring Institute, we have so many clients that are interested in getting out of China and moving to Mexico. And I
yes,
think the growth in volume is going to certainly happen over time.
agreed.
It may not be right this minute, but over time. What other effects of the tariff have you seen an increased volume in care in the U.S. in domestic carriage?
So to answer, just to kind of close out the loop on that question out of Laredo, we do believe that that's going to increase. That's why we don't want to get out of it completely. This is a temporary shift of assets as we wait for that to increase. I do believe in wholeheartedly that what's happening in Mexico with so much of the nearshoring coming there, you just see companies after companies moving there, that there's going to be a lot of freight and that is going to continue to be a strong port. So we're not moving out of there, but temporarily we have seen a pain
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And in terms of anywhere else, what we're seeing is, I don't know if it's more tariffs or more just a general downturn in the economy where, a lot of our
Yeah.
companies or our customers are automotive and truck manufacturing, and that is down tremendously. And so because they're down, our volume is down as well.
Yeah, that's what we're definitely seeing as well. Is essentially the tariffs are supposed to improve manufacturing in the U.S., the volumes and the focus on manufacturing, but in reality, we just don't see it happening. It's actually the volumes are down instead of up. So, and that may be related to the more expensive imports and the tariffs and the general weakness in the economy right now. So that's interesting. We'll have to keep an eye on that and keep our pulse on Laredo. I've been to Laredo and I think it's just astonishing how much they've grown that port. And I think it will continue to grow in the future as more companies relocate there. So I also know that you've been a very active advocate for women in supply chain management. We love that. And in manufacturing and in logistics. Can talk a little bit about how you're supporting these communities around you and advocating for professional women. I know that's one of your passions.
Yes, that's a great question because as a woman raising up, just starting off as young and being behind the scenes, I would actually email from my husband's name because I didn't think anyone would take me seriously. And I was very insecure about being a woman in this heavily male dominated world. And it took a little while, some personal growth and development. And it took champions and other people to help up to say, hey, it's actually a superpower to be a woman in this industry. You can have a lot to add. And
Uh,
so we do need more women in this industry. And I've kind of grown over the years and have seen what that has done for me personally. I'm so grateful for that. And I would love to give back. And I do give back in my time and my mentorships. I have several mentees that I mentor, and it brings me so much joy to see them grow and just seeing how much someone believing in you can really impact not just in the personal development, but in professional development growth as well. So that's exciting for me. So I'm involved in Women in Trucking in North Carolina. I'm on the advisory board. I was the chair last year. We planned an amazing summit that was aimed to promote and inspire women in the industry. Yes, I'm so proud of that. So
that's so interesting. There's a whole organization for women in trucking.
yeah, this is something I'm like really proud of. This there is a Woman in Trucking in general, but national, but this is their North Carolina chapter. And so they had given me this award. I'm like, this just that I have something I feel hold so dearly because it means a lot to me to give back. And I've seen the support that when women have the support, they can become unstoppable. So I'm also involved in Women in Manufacturing because manufacturing customers are my clients. And I wanted to understand what they go through, what are their challenges. And so I was able to bring my experience from building up a chapter in North Carolina to the manufacturing world and growing our North Carolina women in manufacturing. And then just because I don't have enough to do, I've also been asked to join the advisory board for NABO, which is the National Association for Women-Owned Businesses. And that has been, I'm the advocacy chair. So I'll get to go to Washington again this year and advocate for the small micro businesses and for the DEI initiatives that really are helpful. I became a woman-owned business, and that has helped open the door to some of the big Fortune 500 companies where, because they do have some initiatives and they want to have more diversity, and that's how I'm able to grow. I'm grateful for that, and I want to make sure that we continue to advocate for those policies.
So you're advocating for it. You're taking mentors. What else? You speak, I know. Do you
Yes.
write? What other ways are you contributing to helping women?
I think it's more in the community aspect as well, where
Okay.
I have, well, I'm on the economic committee as well in Charlotte. So it's like, how can we support women-owned businesses? How can we provide a platform for support where we can share openly? And so those are probably the biggest ways that I advocate for women. And just also being unapologetic about who you are, and you don't have to be like anyone else, just being yourself. And I'm active on LinkedIn with my posts about how, I'm involved in a few committees on that, but also just like, even if someone asks, I've been citing several articles about what is it like to hire female drivers, or and that question, I'm always open and honest. I don't hold back. I'm not shy about it. I tell my stories about where I see open bias still happening, where people feel like some may feel that they're not qualified, even as drivers. Like several years ago, I had somebody who said, well, we don't hire any female drivers because they're just not that great of drivers. And that's just crazy to me, because they're the most loyal and it's one of the safest drivers we have.
Wow, really? That's
Mhm.
interesting. How many? How many women drivers do you have?
So I actually did an article on this, so I know the percentage. The national average for over-the-road female drivers is 7%, and we have 17% of
Wow,
our drivers are female. Yeah, so
that's
I'm
terrific.
very proud of that, and I love to bring more in. And so every time one of the reasons how we make that happen is just to understand their challenges and what's needed, and being flexible. A lot of companies are all about, this is our way and you're only going to do it our way, and that doesn't work anymore. It's like, how can you be flexible with their childcare needs? Is there a different schedule? Was there a flex schedule that you can incorporate? And that has worked a lot for us, and just also just showing support and being there for them and caring about them as people.
That's fantastic. It just sounds like you have a wonderful company to work for.
Oh, thank you.
And you've taken such a firm stand in the industry as well as in the community of Charlotte. Just it's so engaging talking to you about the kind of business that you run today and where you're going with it. So it's wonderful. You've had a very successful career. I'm sure there have been lots of ups and downs.
Yeah.
But what advice can you give women as they develop their own careers in supply chain management and logistics? I mean, how would you guide one of your mentees, for example?
That's a great question. And I still sometimes don't always feel like had a successful career, but when I look back, I think it's just that drive, like the perfectionist in you think you have to have everything in a row in order to be um, considered successful. But to me, success means that I've made an impact on somebody, that I was kind, and I made a difference in someone's life. So by that metric, I feel very successful by that metric. But maybe from the outside, some people think it might be numbers or this or that. That's not what really matters to me. It's just who I am as a person and how I've grown. And so my biggest advice is always to go back and focus on you, like, so who you are as a person. There's nothing like personal growth to get you to the next step for professional growth. I wouldn't be able to be here talking to you, Rosemary, if I wasn't for all of the steps I had to take along the way to understand me, understand my weaknesses, understand my triggers. And there's so much to learn in that personal development world, and there's a lot of information that's just free. It's like there's videos, books, there's so much you can learn, and everyone finds a way. I don't recommend a path. I've borrowed from many different principles and just had this insatiable desire to be better. Like figuring out, why is this bothering me, figuring out what is inside of me that's holding on to this person, and just finding things that I could consistently do better over and over again with consistency. And I know that's kind of a long-winded answer to your question, but it is, when you go back and turn it on you and say, what is it that I can change?
Yeah.
Right now, the world is very uncertain. There's so much, we'll talk about tariffs, we talk about the market. There's just like, if you focus on that and all you see is this, you become scattered. Your energy just scatters, and you're not focused on anything. But when you go back in and be like, what can I do better today than I did yesterday? How can I show up better? How can I do the thing that I've been putting off, and just check it off, make it happen? Always keep coming back to you, and you will grow. Even, and success will find you. You don't have to chase it because you keep working on yourself.
Ah, that's great advice for anyone, even those beyond startups, those people like me. I take that advice. I think it's very good to think about trying to get better every single day.
Thank
I
you.
always tell people try to learn something every day, but I think, trying to get better at your profession is also quite important.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Marina. It was so interesting to talk to you. Can you please give us your contact information if
Abs-
any listeners want to get in touch with you or learn more about Apex Transit?
Absolutely. So you can find me on LinkedIn at Marina Ivanov or Apex Transit Solutions. And also, if anyone wants to reach out to me for any questions, my email is very simple. It's Marina at apextransitllc.com. I will do my best to help. I sometimes overextend myself. I'm interested in every person and every email that comes in. And but there's if you are persistent enough and there's a will, there's a way, right? So.
Ah, great.
Mhm.
And and you can listen to more Frictionless Supply Chain podcasts posted on Supply Chain Management Review's landing page, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. And you can reach me, Rosemary Coates, at rcoates@reshoringinstitute.org, and visit our website, www.reshoringinstitute.org, where we publish all of our research on manufacturing in America. Thanks, everyone, and have a great day.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.